Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Film Artsy. I'm your guy, Trevor Baker, and today we have something pretty cool, or at least something I'm really excited to share with you guys, and that's a theory video about Captain America's journey back in time after the events of Endgame. If you don't remember, during Endgame, the Avengers decide that they are going to attempt time travel in the quantum realm with the help of Tony Stark's bracelets in order to save all the people that have been snapped 5 years prior by Thanos. The one critical component of this journey was that they had to return the Infinity Stones at all costs. Why? Because every Infinity Stone that they took made a broken timeline that, if it wasn't fixed, would lead to ultimate chaos in the future. The person chosen for this mission was Captain America himself, and at the end of the movie you find that he travels back, and after 10 seconds pass he doesn't come back, and a couple of seconds later we find out that he is indeed an old man, realizing that he got to live some of that life with Peggy that he so desired. This is an incredible story that we didn't see on screen, and I do hope that Marvel one day decides to make a Captain America Back in Time either live series on Disney Plus or a movie entirely on its own. That being said, there's a lot of interesting points that I was like, well, what if this happened? Or what if that happened? How would he put that back there? So that's what we're going to do today. It's just kind of hypothesize what this look like, maybe his strategies, and honestly, maybe assessing the success of his journey. So buckle up and let's get started. First, you have to take into consideration where the Infinity Stones were and where they were taken. The Avengers highlight something that's kind of interesting, or a unique plot point that maybe other people have pointed out when thinking about Marvel in its entirety, that conveniently 3 of the Infinity Stones ended up in New York at the same time. The Tesseract, the Mind Stone, which is in Loki's scepter, and then you have the Time Stone that the Ancient One has at that time. I assume that this is where Captain America would have gone first, although I don't figure he replaced the Tesseract there, because he eventually goes back to where Peggy was at that time, where they successfully got the Tesseract. So replacing the Loki scepter would have been relatively easy, just making sure that it indeed fell into Hydra's hands, so all things played out like they did in Ultron. But a conversation that we really enjoyed was him meeting the Ancient One. The Ancient One's one of those all-knowing beings and has a lot of insight into the future, and is actually the one that tells Hulk that if they do not return these Infinity Stones, there will be wreaked havoc on all of these other timelines. Her insight is why this mission even happened, and I think there'd be a conversation between them, you know, just maybe introspective of who Captain America is, or about all things in the universe. I think it'd be quite enlightening, and I think the Ancient One would really get to enjoy to meet Captain America, since we have not seen those two meet on screen. After modern New York, I assume he would eventually go to the space challenges that he has moving forward. This would include Asgard, Morag, and 𝘍𝘓, because the ultimate end location is indeed the prime time of Peggy's life, where they can live out their happy days together. I would go to Morag first. I feel like this is one that doesn't carry as much significance, so if I was to lay out a story, he would head to Morag. The key thing there is we have, if you don't remember, Morag is where we first meet Star-Lord at the beginnings of Guardians of the Galaxy. Great movie, great introduction to Star-Lord, where he's dancing and he's grabbing rats and singing to their mouth on his Sony Walkman. It's really an iconic scene, and I love it, and it makes me just gush over how fun Guardians of the Galaxy ended up being. And so Captain America really would have had to replace the Power Stone and that Silver Sphere prior to Star-Lord's entrance, I guess. After going to Morag, he would have to go to either Asgard or 𝘍𝘓, and once again, if I was laying out the story, Asgard would be the next place to go. Now, if you are tracking with me, this is kind of a tricky one. It's a little awkward, right? So not only is he going to Asgard, which is a place he's never gone, with a city of gods, but B, he's got to put the stone back where it came from, which was in Natalie Portman. I don't feel like that would be the easiest mission. I could see that being quite humorous, maybe even a little awkward, but can you imagine Captain America? It's like, okay, New York, gotta put those stones back. Okay, Morag, gotta put this stone back. You want me to put my stone, you want me to put that stone where? What? You want me to put this? I don't know about that. So not only would he have to sneak past all the Asgardians, and although I know Thor would know him, being told to put the stone back in Natalie Portman, I don't exactly know what the process is like, but that's what needs to happen, I guess. So before we continue our Captain America theory video, I just want to let you guys know that we have a really cool Instagram that updates on a regular basis. So if you like all things Marvel, this is the Instagram for you. So go follow that filmartsy Instagram right now. You won't regret it, I promise you. Seriously, open Instagram right now and click that follow button. Now back to the video. The next travel location I think would be really interesting is actually him returning the Soul Stone to 𝘍𝘪𝘁. As we know with the Soul Stone, it's an eternal contract, it's an eternal bond. It's a soul exchange for a soul. We see Thanos, which is, I really do believe, is one of the best scenes in Infinity War, where he has to decide to really throw off the one person he does indeed love in the universe in order to complete this mission that he feels so convicted by. And also we have the sequence between Hawkeye and Black Widow, where you see that their friendship is a true bond, and making the decision that one of them has to die was enough to receive the Soul Stone. What would be really cool about the sequence is not only going back to where it all happened and just the memories that those were lost here, is that it actually reunites Captain America with his old nemesis Red Skull. And I honestly don't believe this reunion would be one of conflict. In fact, I think Red Skull shows a lot of character development from the first time we see him in Captain America to the next time we see him in Infinity War. In Captain America, the first movie, the Red Skull is prideful, power hungry, angry, and all over the top. And then when we find him in Infinity War, he's docile, wise, and humble. So clearly, whatever he's experienced along that journey to 𝘍𝘪𝘁 has changed him completely. And these two characters have had their lives changed drastically. You know, when you think about all the time frame and scope, they used to fight, one fought for America, one fought for Germany, but now their lives are so much bigger than that. I mean, this guy literally guards a stone that requires the exchange of souls, and Captain America is saving the universe by returning these Infinity Stones. This conversation would lead to an opportunity for them to realize how much the scope of their view has changed, how they consider the whole universe in its entirety. And I actually think it would be one of intellectual exchange and a mutual understanding, and maybe even agreement that, you know, who they were in the past is no longer who they are, and that they are serving a greater purpose. I hope we get that. I would love it, but I'm not sure we'll ever get to see it. But that's how I kind of imagine going down, and I think it would be one of the better scenes you see all throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The last stop is, of course, back in the 1970s, where he can return to Peggy and return the Tesseract and get to choose to live that life that he was always challenged to live by Iron Man. Now, this might upset some people here, because I have a kind of an interesting viewpoint. We do have the show called Loki coming up, and it's all about him taking the Tesseract in modern day New York and going on his old gallivanting adventure, which clearly breaks timelines. That's why the timekeepers are there. It's a whole ordeal. So my question is, did Captain America fail his mission? And I would say, to some extent, yes. I don't fault Captain America for wanting to live a life with Peggy. He deserved it. I feel like he's always sacrificed. He's never taken a long time to live life for himself. But at the same time, this decision to not go back, to not try to chase down that Tesseract, maybe he was unknowing, it actually leaves a timeline broken. And I think this is going to carry significant implications. You have movies like Far From Home, Spider-Man coming out, the Multiverse of Madness, and this Loki series, and they're all dealing with the multiverse, and realities breaking down and timelines being screwy, and what would cause that is something not getting put back the way it ought to be. I know Wanda's chaos magic is probably gonna have a factor in this, but this is a significant plot point that I don't think it talks about much. And we're not really considering, although we love our Captain America, we love our Chris Evans, that he didn't indeed complete the mission. All Infinity Stones, including the 2 different Tesseract timelines, were not successfully returned. This leaves us in an interesting standing, and it makes me think that Captain America didn't finish the job. I love Captain America. I wanted him to be a Peggy, but the implications, or at least what it looks like the future holds, is that that's going to be a significant part of how things unravel moving forward in the Marvel Universe. Hey, thank you so much for being here today and listening to these ramblings of a crazy man. I would love to see this movie, or at least a series, where Captain America, reprised by Chris Evans, does indeed go back in time and do these things. And if you'd like to see that, drop that in the comments below, or maybe list out the way you think it ought to happen, where he should go first, and maybe some of the things you would like to see happen during that interaction. Once again, thank you so much for being here. And if you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching.